Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome to the Data Fit Show. This is Kristi Data. I am your host. I am so excited to be here with you guys today. Today's episode is brought to you by Defiance Fuel as well as the Girl Gang Evolution. And I can't wait to talk more about that in a few episodes down the road. But today, you guys, yay, I get to introduce you to the very first person. Name is Brooke Masters. She and I have been friends for a couple of years now, and she's also an NPC competitor. And I wanted you guys to learn from somebody else that
it worked.
Yay, it worked. I wanted you to meet her because she is actually a competitor and has been doing NPC for a very small amount of time. Like, this is her first show. So So I'm really excited for all the listeners to get to know you, Brooke, and just kind of roll into the interview. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, what you're all about, and then we will start with the competition stuff.
Yikes. Okay. So I am a wife and mom of 3 boys. I kind of started out, my journey started a while ago where I kind of took my nutrition sort of seriously. My body was not in shape, so I started taking it a little more seriously after kids. Then I had some people very close to me that battled some chronic illness, and that's where health and wellness really became a focus to me. I took it very seriously, and I made it my mission to help other people. And through that journey, I started finding ways and things that made it easier for people and more convenient for them to get their nutrition and health to a point that they can have control over their lives. As far as the fitness competitions, it's almost, I felt like you get to a point that you feel that you've hit a plateau, maybe not necessarily physically, but something that you just feel that you need to keep growing, keep challenging. And a fitness competition for me was more than just my body physically, what I was able to do.
Okay.
But mentally, it's very challenging. For me, it was being able to get on that stage, having people judge you, and
Correct.
overcome that fear and still build your confidence, because once I felt like I could get past that fear, my confidence would overflow into other places in my life. So when I decided to jump on a stage, for me, that was more of what it was about.
I love that. So you have competed in 2 different organizations. One recently was the NPC, which is what I compete in. And then can you describe what the other organization is for the listeners so they can kind of learn the difference between the 2?
Yes. So the first one I competed in was called NGA. It was a natural association. They do drug testing. It was, when I compare the 2 of them, or what I knew about it at the time, when I started with NGA, it was not as competitive. It was not, for me at least, when you walked backstage, everybody had a story. You were really talking to people, and the thing I liked about it, it was very casual. You didn't see, the bodies were not as sculpted. The bodies were not as intense. The competition didn't seem as intense. And when I heard about an NPC show, which my husband does as a trainer, I don't know, it frightened me for some reason. A lot of people would tell me, you know, you go backstage and don't take off your robe because people would look you up and down. And for me, that was my fear. That was the biggest thing for me. So I think going into it, it was a little bit more fear-based, but after going through it, it was like everything else. It had his positives and negatives. It was very different, but still, again, my primary mission was making my best self and knowing that I can overcome something that I feared, and that's what I did. So I just felt like I had to get up on that stage, and no matter who was judging me or what was around me, this was about me, not about them.
I love that, because I think so many times, and I will raise my hand, it's like, oh my gosh, I don't look a certain way, or this girl looks like this, and this girl looks like this, and the comparison game just goes. And granted, that's what's happening. You are being compared, but the mental focus of this is your day. You've put in the time, you've put in the energy, the effort, the practice, the hours, the blood, sweat, and tears, the thousands of spears of asparagus.
Thousands.
Yes, thousands. I literally feel like thousands have been consumed. But that's the thing that I think is so great about this, and why I wanted to share my journey on this podcast, because it's, yes, it's, the physical change is very apparent what everybody goes through in their transformation. Yes, there's, some strictness and things that you do with your nutrition as well. And yes, the workouts can be a little bit daunting and they get heavier and longer, but it's the focus you have on what you want to learn from the journey that I think is the key part
Yes.
of this. The aesthetic stuff and
Yes.
everything else I just rattled off that took me forever to talk about, to spit out. Yeah, that's part of the deal. But I want to know, what was the highest point in your prep and what was your lowest point in your prep for your first NPC show?
So I would say my lowest point, again, because for me, it was what I was going through and what I was doing and what my body was doing. I had to put on a lot of weight that I wasn't used to in order to build muscle. And like you said, it is a constant mind game that you have to say, okay, this is not my finish line. This is all part of the journey. This is just a step along the way. And like everything else, you have to know that if that's not what you want for your end, you need to keep going. So I would say that was probably my toughest point, because I was able to feel what a lot of people feel, not in the competition world, but, people that I coach with their health and nutrition, of that feeling of how not feeling your best spills over into so many parts of your life. It spills over in your relationships, your work, what you're able to accomplish, what I was as a mom, like everything. So for me, that was probably my low point, because it got to a point that I just needed to, okay, let's keep going on this journey. I've had enough of this spot. And the high point was definitely, after going through all that, because you do go through that mind game of getting to that end point, hopping on that stage and just knowing, this is what I'm bringing. I did my best with my foods. I did my best with my workouts. I pushed myself. I did things that most people wouldn't do. And I'm proud of what I accomplished. No matter what y'all think, I did it. And that for me is what it is. And I tell people, it's even like when people run a marathon, you may not understand why I did what I did. I look at people, I did a marathon. I don't know how people keep doing that. But you have to constantly refocus and stay where you want to go. Realize, this is where I'm going. Okay, your mind starts telling you other things. Bring it back, girl. We're okay. You're good. And that's what you just have to do.
I love that. So what are some of the tips that you either were coached by your husband, I assume? He's a great guy.
Yes.
He's my coach now too, which is kind of fun. Team Masters. So what would be some of the tips that you received from your coaches? And it could be from your husband, it could be from your posing coach, that kind of kept your focus and your mindset on the finish line, as you said.
Yeah, I think of having Calvin as my coach and seeing what he'd done in the past. He would just, again, I trusted him just because of he is who he is to me, of saying, it's okay. You're on the right track. You're doing what you're doing. And when I didn't feel like doing something, or when I didn't feel my best, it was, I don't know. I think it really was. It was just him telling me that you're doing your best, whatever it is, you're pushing yourself, you keep going. And that's all I had to do. I just really felt like when my self-talk started happening of, oh, I can't do this, oh, it's so strong, I just had to make it a must. Mm-hmm. And that's just really a lot of the people, like, you're in this, like, this is what you've chosen to do. So whatever it takes, you just got to do it. Yeah. And that was good for me. That was, of just having the positive in my head and hearing that, because I tend to create my own negative. So having some people that remind you of why you started and what needs to be done to keep it going, that's pretty much what it was for me.
I love
That
that.
answers the question.
So you had, and I did an episode, I don't remember which one it is. That's really bad, but I should know it, on choosing your coaches. So how did you
Mm.
choose? Obviously, your husband was your coach because it by default.
Well, actually, my first competition, he was not my coach.
Oh,
My first
share. I want to
competition,
hear this.
I did have a different coach. And my coach at the time was competed with me.
Oh.
So it was an interesting experience. It was a different way of training. The thing that why I had wanted Calvin to do it this time is basically I watched and saw what he did with other competitors. I watched and saw what he was able to do with himself. I watched and saw what he was able to do with people that we were coaching. And he kind of like, I had to let him prove himself that he could do it. So for me, you know, I like the way that he coached. I don't like at the end having to slam in a whole bunch of cardio. I don't like having to remove a lot of things and do it in a way that was unhealthy. You know, him and I have very similar views. For me, nutrition is key. For me, putting things in my body that are not healthy, it's so important to me. So I like the way that he respected what I felt was important, what I felt was priority. I like the way that he did it gradually, and he does not, you know, coach anyone that says, oh, I want to do a competition and, you know, and start training. I have 50 pounds, so I want to start training here and I want to drop in 2 months. Like, he just doesn't do it. He wants to do it in a healthy way. And also I like that he teaches me how to come out of it, which is also really important, because I've heard a lot of really scary stories about coaches who kind of get you down to that point and then you don't know where to go. And I hear people, my friend sent a message to me after my first one saying she gained 25 pounds coming out of it, which was bananas. So, you know, it's really important, I think, that you research the people that you do want to have coach you and know when you're talking to them, they have a plan, that they have the insight and the education on how to do it properly. And they also will do it as an individual, and they understand that bodies are very different and it's not a one size fits all. It's not that you could just take carbs away and that's going to be it. You have to know how the body works. You have to look for signs. And that was something also that I felt was something that he did really well and did a great job.
Yeah, because do you care to share how you finished, my dear, in your show?
Yay. I did third in Masters, which I was super proud because the competition was bananas. They were all like 6 billion feet tall, which is really hard for a shorty to compete with. And I got first in open for Class A, which is me and the shorties. So it was good.
Congratulations. That's so exciting.
Thank you.
So exciting. So
Super
my dear,
psyched.
do we have another show in mind this year, or is one and done for now?
Not this year, because I got to build my booty a little bit.
Okay.
So it's going to take a little bit of time. So I'm thinking spring is what I was nominated for by somebody. So we'll be doing one together in the spring. You and me and Bob.
Okay, here we go. Thank you for the update
Yeah.
and the nomination. Had no idea that was coming.
Just now.
I love it. Okay, so besides being a super mom and an NPC Bikini champion, I wanted you to share a little bit more about what lights you up and what you do with your clients. And I believe you have an upcoming program, correct?
Yes.
All right. Tell us a little bit about it.
So like I was saying before, when I started taking health and nutrition very seriously, I got very passionate about it. I loved helping people. I felt like there were skills and things that I needed to learn, again, to improve myself, to be able to serve people better. And I looked into health coaching. So I became certified as a health coach, which most people don't even know what that is, and it was hard to describe. So recently I kind of thought of a way to describe it. What I tell people is kind of like in sports, that people know how to play the game, but if you are playing a sport, it's almost like you need a coach to teach you what your strengths are and how to use those strengths to succeed. A coach is also there to kind of support you. The coach is there to celebrate with you. So that is what I do with my clients. So we work together. We start off coming up with some goals of what they would like to accomplish. We put together a plan that is sustainable and not, you know, something that would be very difficult to maintain. We find ways to do it with balance. So again, they can reach their goals and they don't feel like they are giving up what they love. So we do find ways to create that balance, you know, because there are busy moms and things like that. So we find ways to allow them to move forward and feel that celebration each time they hit something that they've been working towards. So I've been doing that, and this summer I found that a lot of people have been kind of getting off track.
Oh, yeah.
So I decided to come up with, believe me. So I came up with a group, and what I'm doing is kind of a coaching group to just get people kind of jump started. So it is going to be led on Facebook primarily. I'm going to have an initial online face-to-face Zoom call or phone call or meeting with people to do a health coaching initial consultation session where we do come up with a plan, find out what they need to focus on, what should be the primary areas that we can at least get started. Then I offer recipes. We do some coaching information on there, some videos talking about cravings, why people have certain cravings, what might be triggering them and how to overcome them, some basic workouts from my hubby, and some information on carbs and how to use them. It's just I'm trying to put together as much value as I can in one place for 30 days that people can at least feel empowered to keep going and keep moving in the direction with their health and wellness.
Well, I love that because I know you and I partnered with a very short challenge, and we had a lot of success with people being engaged and learning a lot. And I'm hoping that those people are still on track because I think we did it about a year ago, but it was just so much fun.
What was it, that long?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was, because I've been back in New York area now for a little over a year. So it's been a year, my dear. Time flies when you're having fun. So where can we find you and Calvin online, and what is the big goal for Team Masters?
Ooh, so Calvin is definitely trying to grow his online presence. He does online coaching for people. We do have an app that he has, which is fantastic because a lot of the people who say they walk into the gym and they don't know what to do, it's an app that allows people to see the videos of each exercise. He writes personalized workouts and also does obviously the calories and macros. He does love focusing with people that are competing because it is a challenge and it is so individualized. So that is definitely something that he loves to focus on. With myself, again, I do private one-on-one health coaching as well as groups every once in a while. So I can put my Instagram or my Facebook link on the bottom so people can message me, or on Instagram as well.
I love that. Well, thank you. And you are the official first interview for the Data Fit Show. I am so grateful for you.
Honored. Oh my gosh. I can't even.
This is going to be exciting. And what I'm going to do is kind of drip it a little bit all over our social media so people can check out not only the podcast, but they all have links, and I'll put those in the show notes to all of the stuff that you have going on and all of the things. And I will see you in a couple of weeks. And again, I am so, so grateful for you for being on the show. All right, listeners, if you have any questions, you can reach out to either Brooke or myself. You can find me at Kristi Data on Instagram or just Kristi Data on Facebook. And Brooke, will you share your handles really quick?
Sure. I am at Masters Mind and Body, and Calvin is at Calvin Fitness. I should know that by now.
Yeah.
But I'll put it in there.
Okay, great. All right. Well,
and I'll list my website too.
Yes, please. Definitely do that. And when does the challenge start? So, because this podcast will go live tomorrow, so people have an opportunity to message you for information.
Yay. It's actually going to be live on July 19th. So they
Okay.
still have time.
Yeah.
So we can get their health coaching session before then.
Awesome. All right, you guys. Again,
Yay.
thank you for tuning in. This episode was brought to you by the Girl Gang Evolution and Defiance Fuel. Hope you get out there today. You got sweaty, moved your body the best way you know how. If you have any questions about how to fuel your body, make sure you're putting good nutrition in there. My beautiful friend Brooke over here, she may know a thing or two, so she'd be able to help you, and so can I with that. So please feel free to reach out to us on either one of our socials. And as always, always, always do that thing that makes your soul sing, because this beautiful woman does it every day. And I'm so grateful for you. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you guys next time on the Data Fit Show. Have a beautiful rest of your day.
Yay.
Thanks, Brooke. Have a great day.
Thank you.